Alright, so the Nintendo Direct finally had their showcase a couple of days ago. I know I'm behind. Had a few things come up, but that's alright. I'll give my 2 cents anyway. And I have to admit, for 35 minutes, they really had it jam packed with a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go over everything. You can obviously watch it yourself if you want to. And in fact, if I went over every single thing and gave my 2 cents on it, then this video would probably hit about an hour, and nobody wants that. So I'll just go over the things that I thought were pretty cool over the Nintendo Direct. Like I said, I thought it was really good. It did not focus on Super Smash Brothers for most of the time, like the last one did. And yeah, I think they had a good mixture of old and new. And in fact, the one thing I found was really interesting was just how a lot of old things they brought back, but at the same time, it didn't feel like they were constantly rehashing old stuff. Um, Looks like they realized that the Wii U didn't do as well as it should have, so they brought a lot of things back. So first, they announced, which is probably my one of my favorite games, Luigi's Mansion 3. I have to admit, ever since the GameCube, I've been a fan of Luigi's Mansion. I remember when right before the GameCube came out, Nintendo had a preview club thing in downtown Atlanta, and I took the kids down there and we played the GameCube. And the two games that really caught my attention were Star Wars Rogue Squadron, of course, because I'm a Star Wars fan, and it was a lot of fun. And it was doing the trench run, and who can't turn away the trench run on the Death Star? And two was Luigi's Mansion. And when I bought the GameCube at Target, I grabbed two games, and those were the two. And I've never looked back. I've enjoyed Luigi's Mansion ever since. I have to say that the sequel on the 3DS, I've played several times. I haven't finished it. uh, and simply because, trying to do what you have to do on that small little thing, I get about three-fourths through the game, and then my hands are kind of done. I get kind of tired of the game, and then I start over, and then I get about three-fourths of the way through, and same thing happens again. I've started over like 3 or 4 times, but I still enjoy the game. I really wish they could bring over the second Luigi's Mansion to the Switch, or but that would be kind of playing doing the same thing. So who knows? But I could play it on a GameCube controller or a better, bigger controller. Anyway, Luigi's Mansion 3, I'm all excited for it. It comes out sometime next year. I'm ready for it. If it's at Best Buy, I'm pre ordering it. They've already got my money. So, second thing I thought was really cool was they're bringing back Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story and Bowser Jr.'s Journey. And I remember purchasing this for the DS because I really do like the Mario and Luigi series. But I never really had a chance to play it. If you haven't noticed, I'm behind. I have a list of games I need to play that goes forever. But if it comes out on the Switch and they fix the whole thing with the memory card, I'll be definitely playing this. Another one that caught my eye was the Super Mario Brothers U, the new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. I remember buying that for the Wii U, but I'll be honest with you. With the Wii U, I only touched that thing only a handful of times. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Now here's one for you nostalgia fans. Uh, and this is back in the PS2 days. Katamari Damacy. Now, if you didn't, this was one of those games that was just weird, but you found yourself playing anyway. And basically, you played like this king of the universe, whatever, and you just rolled stuff around and picked stuff up. And I remember playing this for a few minutes, and I thought it was interesting. It was nothing that I had to play and finish, but I thought it was interesting. My wife played it for a little while longer. She thought it was really cool, and then after a while, she got kind of tired of it. So I thought that was an interesting idea to bring this one back because it hasn't been seen in quite some time, and somebody had to go. You know what? Let's bring this one. So hopefully, maybe they can do something with the controllers where when you like the little gyroscope, you can turn whatever. Anyway, moving on. Another thing that was announced with the Nintendo Online service that comes out next week is they're going to have a whole lot of NES games available to play online and co-op and all that. I don't know the full list, but it looks like a really good list. But one of the things that they announced was uh, NES style Switch controllers. Now, I have to admit, being an old Nintendo guy back from the 80s, these look really cool. Uh, but, my son and I both kind of balked at the $60 price. I guess that's because of the wireless technology or whatnot. Still seems kind of steep for a pair of controllers. Hopefully, the price will drop on that. After that, one thing that caught my eye was a new game from the folks at Game Freak. Those are the ones that really work on Pokemon. Is the working title is Town, which okay, whatever. Both of my son kind of like, okay, you guys could have found any type of better working title than that, but it still kind of caught our eyes. It looked interesting, so hopefully we'll hear more about that. So, they went over quite a few other games and such, and it started getting, kind of lackluster there. But then Nintendo just hit us, and I say us as my family and I were watching this at the same time, with the announcement that the Switch was going to get a slew of Final Fantasy games. And I'll kind of run through it. They're getting Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy X and X-2, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, World of Final Fantasy, and Chocobo's Dungeon, and Final Fantasy XII, Zodiac Age. And I mean, I'm hoping that these are reasonably priced. If they're $50 a piece, they can just take it back. But second thing that I caught was interesting was, there's no Final Fantasy VIII, and I've read a few things that there's some licensing issues with names and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully they can work that out. But it was like somebody just went, "Hey, I want Final Fantasy on my Switch," and Square Enix said, "Which one do you want?" And then someone at Nintendo said, "All of them." And I've seen a few videos where folks were like, "Hey, this is a huge deal. This is the first Final Fantasy back in Nintendo since the Final Fantasy VI, whatever." However you want to look at it, Square Enix and Nintendo have still been in worked together. I mean, there's been a ton of Final Fantasies on the DS and 3DSs. We just didn't have any of the main games come out on a console for whatever reason. But it's not like they were enemies. They were still working together. Um, and I remember it was such a big deal when Final Fantasy VII went to Sony PlayStation, but that was because of a memory issue. CDs held a lot more than cartridges, and at the time, Nintendo really wanted to stay with cartridges. They wanted to do their own thing, so Sony said, "Hey, we're moving on." And CD was the hot technology at the time. You could put orchestral music. You can put hot visual effects on there. And I remember, getting Final Fantasy VII when it first came out. And I mean, that was just jaw dropping, for 1997 graphics. And I think it was 3 discs, 2 discs or 3 discs, I can't remember. And I thought that was the best thing ever outside of Final Fantasy VI. I still think that was the best one. Anyway, that's for another story. So, putting these on the Switch is a good thing, yes, for those that haven't had a chance to play them yet. And like I said, hopefully they're reasonably priced. I'm hoping, for those older games, since they're not being remastered, as far as I can tell, hopefully between $5 and $10. They really shouldn't be anything more than that. And then after that, I remember doing a video a couple of days ago about not playing my Switch because of the memory issues. Hopefully the online service will fix it or they'll figure it out. And then I talked about the new Pokemon bundle Switch, and my family wants it. And then right after, debating whether or not we're going to get it, Nintendo hits us with another slammy of a Super Smash Brothers bundle for the Switch. Good lord. They really know how to draw me in, because I know quite a few people in my house that would love to have this one as well. So, but I doubt if we would get this one if we got the Pokemon one. So there's a bit of a rumbling in my house right now of which one's gonna win if we just do decide to get another Switch. But at the same time, my boys are old enough they can buy their own, and they work. So maybe one will buy a Pokemon version and another one will buy a Switch version. Whatever works. Uh so as we come to the end, we see Tom Nook from Animal Crossing, and of course everybody's presuming Animal Crossing's coming to the Switch. But first, they announced that Isabelle from Animal Crossing is coming to Super Smash Brothers. Now, my son, as soon as he saw this, he went, "Holy crap!" and he thought, this was a stupid idea. And I told him, I said, you know what? As silly as it sounds, watch these guys at Nintendo make her one of the strongest characters ever. I have no idea. I play Super Smash Brothers for fun. I rarely, really know what the hell I'm doing when I'm playing with it. But anyway, I really, I think it would be really funny if they did that with her. And then, last but not least, of course, when they did the fake out with making Isabelle part of Super Smash Brothers, they went back to Animal Crossing and announced an Animal Crossing for 2019. Now, I have to say, I played Animal Crossing on the GameCube for about 5 minutes. Um, I thought it was. I'm not a huge life simulator type of player. I figure, if I'm not. Um, I play games to escape, obviously. So it makes no sense to me to play a game where I'm buying a house and fishing and, that Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon, all that kind of stuff is just not for me. But one person in my house that really loves this stuff is my wife, and she played Harvest Moon like no tomorrow. But the game she really attached herself to on the GameCube was Animal Crossing, and it's funny because while I would play something else at the same time, I'd watch her play Animal Crossing, and she collected as many bells and rearranged her house and had 4 or 5 floors and went to other people's towns, and she got all the kids to play along, and she would go to their towns and give them stuff. My house became an Animal Crossing house for quite some time. So, now that the kids are old and have mostly moved out, and we're kind of older, well, Animal Crossing have the same effect as it used to? Probably not, but I have a feeling that we might stumble in the world of Tom Nook again. So anyway, that was my. Those are the things that impressed upon me the most on a Nintendo Direct. Like I said, it hit a lot of things. There were a lot of things that were old but new again. I'll talk about the whole Capcom beat 'em up bundle in another video because I thought that was really cool. But yeah, they had a ton of stuff, a lot of stuff coming out over the next, 6 months to a year. And it's not like they're all waiting for, hey, everything's coming out December or everything's coming out February. It looked like everything's coming out, over the next few weeks, months. Like, we got stuff coming out next week, and then the week after that, and the week after that. So you're going to get a steady roll of Switch stuff if you're a huge Switch player. You're not going to be sitting back and waiting for very long. And I think that's a good thing. So, between now and next year, save your money for Switch games, guys out there. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the Nintendo Direct for September 13th, 2018. I'm excited, and looks like they're going to get some more of my money. And tell me what you think. Did you like it? Did you think it was boring? Let me know. Post it in the comments below. I like talking to you guys. And until next time, peace out, players.